So it looks like we got a brand new tease for Avengers Doomsday at a Disney event somewhere in Italy. Somebody pulled out their phone and they started recording. I was hoping there was going to be some kind of footage, some kind of massive, big, epic reveal. But we did get a small reveal of groups of characters that we will see in Avengers Doomsday. Now, we all know who's going to be in this film post, the whole chair announcement, which I think was honestly a genius move, you guys. This is big. Next week is a juggernaut of a week. Apparently, we're going to have a massive event for trailers. We're talking possibly the Odyssey, Avengers Doomsday, Lantern, Supergirl. It is going to be absolutely ginormous. It's Trailer Reaction Central. I cannot wait, you guys. I'm hoping that, I can get some good views, some good subscribers next week on the channel. I am genuinely excited to cover everything that drops next week. So we're going to be talking about the groups that was shown in this little, leaked photo, at this Disney event for Avengers Doomsday. Also, My Time to Shine Hello is reporting some very interesting stuff, which we will go over. Millie Bobby Brown connected to the next X-Men film. Also, Marvel looking to recast She-Hulk and Tatiana Maslany. Woo! This is very interesting. Now, before we jump into all of those goodies, you guys, let's go over what we saw in this Disney event for Avengers Doomsday, right? So we have 4 group of characters. Obviously, you're going to start off with the Fantastic Four. Your Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben. Pivotal characters, important character to the character of Dr. Doom. You can't have Dr. Doom without the Fantastic Four. It would be so silly to do something like that. So I'm so curious to see where these characters' stories are going to pick up post Fantastic Four First Steps, especially after that post-credit scene of, Victor, engaging with Franklin Richards. That's going to be really interesting. I mean, to see Sue Storm in full mom mode, doing her power set, I was like, oh, she means business. But I am so curious to see what they're going to do with that particular plot for the film. And just how important Reed Richards is going to play a character in Doomsday alongside, Victor Von Doom. Cannot wait. Like I said, you can't have one without the other. And then you have the Wakandans. You have Shuri as Black Panther. You have M'Baku. And then you have Namor. Now, obviously, they're probably going to we'll probably see more Wakandans in some kind of way, right? Because, you're dealing with all of the Wakandans army, right? All the 5 tribes. So you're going to see probably more tribes, the border tribes, and whoever, they decide to throw in this film. But, I'm curious to see if we're going to get some kind of a variant of T'Challa, like a Damson Idris, who could potentially be Black Panther in Secret Wars. Now, I think Shuri's going to be Black Panther in this film, but heading into Secret Wars, where, all the incursions start to happen and we get to see other multiple variants, I do think that Damson Idris and his T'Challa, will be the lead for the Black Panther role in Secret Wars. And then we jump over to, the new Avengers. You got Bucky, you got Yelena, you got Red Guardian, you got Bob, aka Sentry, you got Ghost, and you have U.S. Agent, right? We're all stoked to see that post-credit scene at the end of Thunderbolts. It was really exciting. I was like, finally, we are moving places. We are going places. It was absolutely awesome to see. And I love the whole confrontation between Sam and Bucky. He's not talking to him because he's patting the name Avengers. Sam is all butthurt because all of a sudden Sam wants to form the Avengers. I'm like, come on, buddy. You've been Captain America how long? And now don't blame Bucky for, making moves, post Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Don't blame Bucky. And we move forward to this, Sam Wilson's Avengers, which was really interesting to me. Really, 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 really interesting to me. Okay. You jump forward, you have Sam Wilson himself, you have Shang-Chi, you have the Falcon, you have Ant-Man, and you throw in Thor, and then Loki's on that list too. I was like, Loki? Okay, look, I cannot wait to see God Loki. To see God Loki return, you guys, after Loki season 1 and 2. I am so curious to see, him joining Sam's group of Avengers. That's going to be really interesting to see, honestly. But to have Thor and Loki back on the same page is going to be absolutely fun to watch. I cannot wait to see how emotional it's going to be because, Thor thinks Loki's dead. And yet again, Loki's not dead. It's going to be pretty exciting. I can't wait to see some of these characters interact. And it's a shame that, it took damn near It's been how many years since Endgame? Damn near almost 9 years since Endgame? 8 years since Endgame? And we haven't had any kind of character interactions for this next group of Avengers. I always thought the MCU messed up and they did it wrong. They should have did something in between having a small group of Avengers just to tease us for what's coming in the future. And then we have our beloved returning OG X-Men. You have Patrick Stewart, Magneto, Mystique, Cyclops, Gambit, Beast, Nightcrawler. I'm beyond excited to see this core group of X-Men on the screen for one last time, and for the moments we never got to see, honestly. I mean, they really held back on those X-Men movies, making it really Wolverine-centric and focused. Even Magneto and Professor X, even Mystique, you know what I mean? Mystique damn near had a whole trilogy based off her own character. So I'm really stoked to see other characters shine in ways we have yet to see. Nightcrawler and X2 had one absolute banger of a moment. That was the last we ever seen of Nightcrawler at that kind of scale. Gambit seeing Channing Tatum and Deadpool and Wolverine was so perfect. Or seeing Beast at the end of the Marvels, you know, in the lab coat and the teeth. Oh, I am so beyond excited to see how they're going to do it. And, you know, Kelsey Grammer confirmed that he was all in mocap. And I was like, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with him doing mocap, you know, without all the makeup. I don't care. This movie's going to be a juggernaut of a film within itself. But I'm excited to see all four of these groups go at it, and, you know, to see the confrontation and to see the communication, to see the misunderstanding and the teamwork and all those elements. I'm really stoked to see, you know, between all these core group of characters. I cannot wait. Super stoked. But that's it, you guys. That's all they pretty much revealed at this, you know, Disney event. And then, of course, they had like the whole money shot of the entire casting and crew, not the crew, but the entire cast on the screen together. I cannot wait. Big, massive film. And this is just the beginning. You know, there are other groups probably forming. Doctor Doom and his variants, and Doctor Doom and, you know, all the multiversal enemies and villains he's forming to, you know, conjure up this massive incursion. Like, this is just the beginning, you guys. And I cannot wait. Moving on to the reports from My Time to Shine. Hello. Now, they're claiming that Millie Bobby Brown is being eyed for a role in the X-Men reboot post Stranger Things 5. Now, I don't mind Millie Bobby Brown. I don't think she's the greatest actress, honestly. She's a streaming actress. You know, I can only give you one film that she's done outside of Netflix, and that was what Godzilla, King of the Monsters. That's pretty much it. That's the only thing I can name that she's done outside of streaming. But to give her a role in the X-Men, hopefully it's not a lead role. A lot of people are thinking, you know, maybe like a Kitty Pryde or maybe like a Magma. I was like, no, not Jean Grey. I don't need to see her. Her character's already like that, you know, in Stranger Things is Elle. But I'm curious to see, you know, if this report does come out to be true. I mean, I think it's a good idea to try to bring in massive, young, valuable talent like somebody like a Millie Bobby Brown, or having somebody like a Sadie Sink being, you know, in Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Secret Wars. It's brilliant. You have to, you know, you kind of have to, you know, attend to the masses and, you know, understand your audience. And, you know, you need your X-Men to be very young and vibrant, you know, because they're going to be the face of the MCU moving forward. But we'll see what happens with that. And the other report, Marvel Studios wanted to use She-Hulk in a big way for Secret Wars. The problem is that Tatiana Maslany has no interest in working for Disney. Ooh, and if they're unable to convince her to return, the options are to remove her character altogether or recast the role. Now, She-Hulk as a show was a misfire for me. Never really watched it, didn't really care about it, hated how they handled Daredevil, made this fool a sucker, you know what I mean? Getting his cheeks clapped by She-Hulk and then walking down the street with no shoes. I just didn't appreciate it. I didn't like it whatsoever. Even with the character of Hulk, you know what I mean? Like him kind of training her and, you know, letting, you know, that whole backstory of, you know, the blood transfusion. I thought it was kind of cool, but ultimately, you guys, the show just wasn't for me. And it wasn't for a lot of people. And, you know, it left a sour taste in a lot of fans' mouths. And there's a reason why we haven't seen She-Hulk since that show. Right? It's just, a lot of people are also claiming that with this whole casting announcement and reveal, the MCU is gone. Like, it's more male dominant than ever, I feel like. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I don't. Because the general audiences, I'm sorry to say, are males. So when they're really pushing the narrative of, you know, having a, you know, and I don't mind female superheroes. I don't. You know, I think Miss Marvel, she's pretty badass. Spectrum, I can't wait to see how, you know, where her character goes. You know, in Doomsday, Captain Marvel's kind of whatever for me. Wanda Maximoff is a GOAT. You know what I mean? I can't wait to see Jean Grey. There are wonderful characters. You know, Black Panther Shuri, awesome as hell. He's just trying to overly force the narrative, you know, and kind of, I feel like, brush or push out a certain group of your fandom is a bad idea. So we'll see what happens. If they decide to recast, you know, She-Hulk and Tatiana Maslany, then by all means do it. You know what I mean? Scrap the whole character, get another writer for the character. It just wasn't for me, honestly. Just not. And to end the video, you guys, Mia Goth has confirmed that she had a fitting for her costume and wig for the character Lilith in Blade. She also said she did a chemistry test as well and was incredibly excited about it. So if Mia Goth was in costume and wore the wig and everything, that means there are photos out there of Mahershala Ali in his Blade costume. Somebody scour the internet and get me those photos. Because all we have right now as Mahershala Ali's Blade was Blade Moon Knight in Marvel Zombies, and all we have is his voiceover at the end of Eternals. You sure you want to do? Are you sure you ready for that, Mr. Whitman? That is it. That is it. So I'm still hoping that, Mia Goth is, she's still attached to Blade because she is a wonderful talent. I mean, come on, if you have not seen Pearl X, this girl is absolutely crazy. But hopefully Blade gets made, post Secret Wars, post Multiverse Story, when it all ends and they can really scale back down and focus on much smaller stories and, supernatural elements in that whole corner of the MCU. That would be pretty interesting to me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about this Disney event for Marvel Studios, Avengers Doomsday, putting groups together. You have, Captain America's team. You have the new Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men. Let me know what you guys think about My Time to Shine Hello and their reports, honest thoughts, and opinions. Let me hear it. And of course, thank you guys for taking time out of your day for watching SeaWorld Productions. Peace.